Welcome to the WACO Experience, an American story.
We, the people.
With your host, D. Scott Smith.
In order to form a more perfect union.
Interviews with leaders in business, government, and nonprofit organizations.
Promote the general welfare.
Jobs, products and services, and infrastructure for strong communities. Secure
the blessings of liberty.
The WACO Experience is an American story, a story of communities across America. It is your story.
I am D. Scott, and we're here at the Even Hotel today, where we've got a couple of hot doggers. We're going to find out what that means as we talk to them. The WACO Experience, an American story, is sponsored by Lime Lily, WACO's only corporate gifting company. Send hundreds or thousands of gifts with elegance and style. Learn more at limelily.com. Friends for Life, for over 35 years, providing support systems and services for seniors with disabilities. Learn more at friendsforlife.org. The Aspects of Aging weekly talk show with Christine A. Smith. Unscripted conversations with experts. Watch each Monday live at noon Central or anytime at agingbetternetwork.com. Biddy & Bowes Coffee. Drop in for a hot or cold beverage. Biddy & Bowes provides jobs for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Visit them at 110 Franklin Avenue in Waco. The best way to learn guitar is with the Chord Buddy Learning System. This is a 100% U.S.-made product, and Shark Tank winner will have you playing songs in minutes. Shop today at chordbuddy.com. Let's just jump right into it. So we have Akira and Connor, but Akira, let's go ahead and introduce yourself, and let's talk about your nickname in that introduction.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Akira. My hot dogger name, as we like to say, is Aioli Akira.
And how did you come up with Aioli? So
yes.
I'm thinking...
It was kind of hard for me. I was trying to think of what I thought would sound pretty good with Akira. A lot of hot doggers use kind of alliterations to create their names, but there are a lot of families of hot doggers, as if I'm like thinking about it. But so there have been other hot doggers with the name Aioli. So that's kind of where my inspiration came from.
Okay. All right. And we've got Connor.
Yeah, my name is Captain Glizzy on the hot dog highways.
And all right, so Captain Glizzy, what is that?
Yeah, when I was in the Army, my drill sergeant said I ate a lot of hot dogs. I love hot dogs. I'll be frank, they're my favorite. And I was grilling some up one day for them. Got my drill sergeant to drive me around to Humvee and dropped off hot dogs to my guys in the field. So Captain Glizzy was my moniker after that. When I got to Oscar Mayer, found out about the hot dogging program, that we needed a hot dogging name. I told them that an old nickname was Captain Glizzy, and Oscar Mayer thought it fit perfectly for me.
That's perfect. That's great. Connor, tell us what hot doggers are and about the vehicle that you're rolling around in, because it is a piece of Americana.
It definitely is. The American icon, the Wienermobile, started in 1936. Carl Meyer, Oscar Mayer's nephew, wanted a way to spark some smiles, promote the Oscar Mayer brand, spread some joy. That was during the Great Depression. It was a great way for America just to have some cheer in their lives. And since 1988, we've had the Hot Dogger program. 12 hot doggers every year are hired by Oscar Mayer to drive around for a year in 6 Wienermobiles all across the United States. Been to all 50 states, Puerto Rico, some other countries overseas, and we are class 37. In June of next year, pass the reins off to class 38, and the tradition will continue.
You know, as I was thinking about this, you have there's 6 Wienermobiles rolling around the country right now. Each one of them has 2 hot doggers. This means you're a part of a pretty exclusive group of people.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's great just getting the opportunity to drive all across America, and to be able to say that, you know, I'm one of 12 people currently that get to drive the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. Is just so incredible. And I think it's like, it's just a huge family. It's a huge network of people that are maybe not so huge, I guess, but it's a network of people who have driven the Wienermobile, and it's so amazing. a lot of states that we go to, a lot of cities that we go to, we'll have people come up to us and introduce themselves and say, I used to drive this. And it's just so amazing to be able to meet the people who have shared some of the same experiences that we're getting to do.
So I've got a client that's a Shark Tank winner. Every year they have a reunion, which is actually a much bigger group of folks than current and former hot doggers. Is there like an alumni association, or is there a group that you guys have? Because we'll talk a little bit about what your path is after this.
Yeah, all the hot doggers like to stay connected. We have our groups on social media where we can reach out to one another and ask questions. And when we go to a city, we'll reach out and say, are there any hot doggers in the area? We'd love to, meet up with you guys and different things like that. So we have ways that we stay connected, and we love to get in touch with each other.
And let's talk about the places that you guys have been. Connor, let's talk about the places you've been to in Waco. I know you've been to like the library and the Cameron Park Zoo. Mm-hmm. I saw you at Things from the Heart, which is the retail store for a food pantry in the area. Yesterday, I saw you at Biddy & Bowes as they were celebrating their 3rd anniversary as a business. So nonprofits, events. What places have you been in Waco that maybe stand out?
Oh, there's so many. We've done a bunch of amazing events in Waco so far. We went to Pet Circle Waco the other day, and they brought out some adoptable pups that they had in hot dog costumes, of course. It's always a perfect opportunity. The dogs were amazing. We're just trying to bring some awareness to dogs that needed, and cats they have at the shelter as well, that need to be adopted and everything. We do like to do charities like that. Prior to that, we were at a retirement home. This Wienermobile has been around since 1936, so a lot of people have memories of the Wienermobile. And going to the retirement home, people came up and like, I saw this in this year. I remember when my grandfather took me, things like that. So we have been all over the place meeting people from different walks of life. I'm trying to think of some other events. Yesterday we were at a Fill the Trunk event, which was also for Shepherd's Heart Food Bank. We went to the Cultural Arts Fest yesterday and got to hear some great music, meet a bunch of people from all over the place. And we stopped over at Biddy & Bowes prior to the Cultural Arts Fest. We heard that they were having the 3-year anniversary and wanted to hand out some wiener whistles and, just have some fun as we're on Waco for another few days. And they seem to love it. They even played the Oscar Mayer song in the coffee shop when we were heading out. So it was pretty good.
I'm not surprised. That's great.
It was great.
They often do a lot of karaoke over there at Biddy & Bowes. Really so you guys get to go to a lot of different events. Tell us about why Oscar Mayer chooses to do this, and specifically to support local businesses that are not really food related and the nonprofit organizations.
It's really just about bringing awareness to Oscar Mayer and how much they want to spread joy in the communities. It doesn't always have to be food related. Obviously, we are a food company and we love going to stores that promote our products and things like that. Dachshund festivals too. We love going to, Wiener dogs and the Wienermobile go hand in hand. We were at one a couple weeks ago and I can't even count the amount of wiener dogs I saw, so it was fantastic. But there's all different types of businesses and nonprofits and events and festivals, things like that we go to just so everyone really has an opportunity to see the Wienermobile.
So Akira, tell us about why you wanted to do this.
Oh yeah, so why would you not want to be a hot dogger? Why would you not want to drive the Wienermobile across America? It's something that I didn't know was a dream of mine until pretty recently, I would say. I had never heard of the Wienermobile until I'd never heard of it. I'd never seen it until I was a freshman in college. And then they go through Mizzou's campus. They go through Columbia, Missouri a lot. And so I'd see them on campus like 2-3 times a year. And I'd always go and, talk to the hot doggers that were doing the events in town. And I got to know a lot about the job. And, I was looking up like, what is this? Like, what are they doing? What are they for? And I just kind of fell in love with everything that they stand for and what they get to do, and just fell in love with the job. And so my senior year, I just had to apply. It just seemed like such a great opportunity to not only get to travel around, but to meet so many people and to give back to so many different communities, and just to be able to have an impact on so many people's lives was just something that I really wanted to do, and something that just really resonated with me.
And so you guys will be traveling from here to Houston next, and you're actually from Houston.
Yes.
Ended up going to school at University of Missouri, Mizzou. Mm-hmm. And what did you study there?
So I was a double major, so I studied communication and then public administration and policy. So a little bit on like the business, like for profit, a little bit in the like the nonprofit sector, but I was kind of all over the place there. And
I'm thinking it's got to be a competitive process to become a hot dog. And there's only 12.
Yes, there's only 12 hot doggers every year. It definitely is competitive. You know, it's an American icon. It's something that, you know, if you know about it, everybody wants to do it, but not everyone gets the opportunity to do it. But it was definitely a tough application process, and there were so many great applicants. But I was lucky enough to cut the mustard, so I'm having a great time out here. I
love it. So you somehow you avoided learning about the hot dog, the Wienermobile, until you made it to college. Connor, what about yourself?
Well, I went to Penn State, which is one of the schools they go to a lot to find former hot doggers. And I somehow, in 6 years at Penn State, had not seen the Wienermobile. I actually didn't know they recruited from Penn State that much until I was already heavily involved in the interview process, and they told me about it. And I was just shaking my own head. I don't know how I missed it, but I was in my 6th year in grad school there at Penn State when the hot doggers saw my application. I'd submitted a couple days prior. It was just a stroke of fate. They came to Penn State, picked me up in the Wienermobile. That was the first time I ever saw it, which was crazy to me, and I got hooked instantaneously. Met some of the old hot doggers. They drove me around campus. Unique way to see the campus that I've loved for 6 years, and I was just immediately smitten with the program. Got to meet the coordinators. Luckily made it to second round interviews. Flew out to Madison. It's a gorgeous area up there where we have our headquarters, and all the other coordinators and marketing people and head of the program in Madison were just extremely kind. Wanted to make a benevolent impact in society, which I really aligned with. As soon as I found out that I got the job, I was on cloud 9 from that point. There was never a chance that I would not have taken it if, as soon from the minute I found out about it, didn't know anything about it, and then was immediately hooked. So I'm very fortunate to have been one of the 12 they selected. Got 6 more months on the road, and I'm living it up to the fullest.
So we mentioned that the Wienermobile, this giant fiberglass rolling hot dog on a bun, a part of Americana. And here we have U.S. Army veteran and college graduate, grad school in the Wienermobile. Tell us what it's like. What's it like on a daily basis?
It's hard to explain what it's like on a daily basis because no 2 days are the same in the hot dogger program, which makes it so appealing. It's so much fun. You always have to be adaptable because we're changing around. We're going to so many different kinds of events and everything like that. We have a few off days in the cities we travel to. We get to explore the communities we're in, see the beautiful campuses like Baylor, like we've been to the last, where we go on Tuesday, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Reminded me a lot of Penn State, a little homesick on that front. But we get to interact with everyone, and it also does offer me a unique, I guess, viewpoint, being that I was in the Army, because a lot of the people we come in contact with were also veterans. So I get to talk about that a little bit. And some of them are a little confused at first on why I went from being in the Army to driving a hot dog. But when I explain a little bit what I get to do and make an impact and how it's kind of a service in and of itself, they understand, and we get to connect on a different level.
So your graduate degree is an MBA.
Yes.
And then what was your undergrad?
International relations.
Okay. So when I looked at the website for being a hot dogger, they're looking at a lot of PR, communications, journalism, advertising, kind of the typical that you would expect, right? Those typical types of degrees. And Akira, let's come back over to you, and I just want to kind of get an understanding of where you're going to go from this.
That is a good question. And, it's a question I've been asking myself a lot the last couple weeks. I know we're not even halfway through our tour yet, and I'm already thinking, the end is going to creep up on me. And as much as I don't want it to, I need to start, preparing for and thinking about what I'm going to do next. And so I honestly have no clue. I'm just kind of looking around, and I know that with this job and traveling to so many different places, I'm going to get to see a lot of the country. I might change my mind on where I want to live, and that'll kind of sway my decision and kind of put me on a different path. But job-wise, I have no clue. I am pretty much only looking to do something where I can have an impact on people and an impact on the community that I am going to be a part of. And that's one of the things that appealed to me so much with this job, was that I got to, be a part of so many different communities and make an impact on so many different people. And just spreading joy, sparking smiles, and doing good in the world is something that I'm passionate about and something that I've always wanted to do. So no matter what I do, that is the end goal.
And a lot of what I saw on the website too was, when you're looking for hot doggers, Oscar Mayer has you consider this as your own mobile PR firm. And you guys you have a coordinator who helps schedule, but you do a lot of the scheduling yourselves. Tell us about how you find out about events in these different communities.
It's different. Social media plays a big part of it. We have our own social media accounts that we use to, get people to follow us and just kind of post about what we're doing and where we're going. But we also use it a lot to find out about things that are going on in the communities that we're going to. Just coming here into Waco, we both joined some of the Waco Facebook groups, like What's Happening in Waco, just to kind of ask people, and let them know that we were going to be in town, and ask about different things that were going on, that things that they would love to see us at, and things where we could go to, make someone's day or surprise someone. And really that's what we're all about. We try to leverage social media any way we can, and just do whatever we can to find things that we can do to make the most of our time in the communities that we're going to.
The hot doggers that have become alumni from the program, how many of them, or a percentage of them, or do any of them continue on with Oscar Mayer?
Oh, I don't know. I know quite a few people will stay with Oscar Mayer, and they'll stay with Kraft-Heinz, and just kind of do different things in various departments at like our headquarters and such. But hot doggers go on to do amazing things. Wherever they go, they're always doing something great.
Sounds good. Connor, you've had a couple of different careers. So you were in the Army. What was your role in the Army? And thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I was an infantry captain when I finished out. So I was primarily down at Fort Benning, Georgia. I was an executive officer for a training company for Aioli, which is a basic officer leadership course for new infantry lieutenants as we entered, which I had been in previously as I first commissioned into the Army out of Penn State undergrad, did my Aioli time, and then served as their executive officer for the same company actually. And then after that, I went over to Sand Hill, which is where they train basic trainees as privates first enter the Army. I was kind of responsible for managing some of the drill sergeants around there, doing a lot of the administrative work, scheduling, things like that. With basic training, the drill sergeants did a lot of the training, and I did a lot of the office work. It's where the term officer comes from. So it made sense, and it kind of led hand in hand to my MBA, which then led to the hot dogger program. So I think it's all just kind of a culmination that has.
And so where do you see yourself going?
Now that is also a good question. Much like Aioli over here, I don't exactly know where I want to go. I just have a drive to make a difference, a beneficial impact in the communities that I'm involved in. I want to look for different opportunities to be able to help people. I was heavily involved in Thon at Penn State. Part of the reason I went back, honestly, the main reason I went back. I do love Penn State, but Thon is the student-run philanthropy, largest in the world, that raises money for pediatric cancer. And that is something that's near and dear to my heart and has been for a long time. I'd love to do some work for Thon, different kinds of charity work Shepherd's Heart's been great too. That kind of opened my eyes to the food bank realm too. I'd never previously thought about it to this week, but WACO has shown me that there's a lot of opportunities. You just have to look out for them. And I want to be involved with making a beneficial impact in whatever community I choose to be a part of. Not sure if we'll be back in Pennsylvania or not.
This is one of the benefits of touring around and visiting in. And again, how many states have you been in the last 6 months?
14.
14, and you've done about how many events in that 6 months?
Honestly, I don't even know if I can ballpark it. Several hundred, I guess.
Yeah.
Few hundred.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun, and we've had a blast along the way.
So Shepherd's Heart is one of the organizations that you've seen. Maybe it's made an impact here in Waco. I'm hoping so. And this is one of the benefits that you get to have as you travel around, and you get to see these different organizations. So I'll say Aioli, Akira. Tell me about your perspective that from the different communities that you've visited, like Waco and Shepherd's Heart and the different events. What has struck you? What has been memorable? Because I'm thinking it's got to be just like the movie, the flipping by and trying to grab a single frame.
It definitely is. It feels like a revolving door of like things coming and going, but there are so many things that stick out that sometimes it all kind of like blends together and nothing sticks out almost. But no, everything that we do has just been so impactful. And some of my favorite events that we've done here in Waco, especially, were going to the libraries. And so we went to a preschool story time at the West Waco Library, Wednesday morning, I think. And then Wednesday afternoon, we went to the South Waco Library where they had, an outdoor adventure club, and they were learning all about outdoor games and like jump roping and hula hooping and tag and whatnot. And that has just been something that I think is probably one of the things that stood out to me the most. My mom is a teacher, and then my first couple jobs, I think, and when I was in high school, where I, babysat for like family friends and people in my neighborhood, and then I worked at a nursery at the church I went to growing up, and then I worked at a children's museum. So a lot of things that I was around when I was younger were just children all the time. And so for a while, I thought I wanted to be a teacher and, maybe teach elementary or middle school. And I have since found that might not be for me, but I still love to, be around kids and just seeing them learn and seeing their eyes, kind of light up when they get excited about things. And so to be able to show these kids, a lot of them for the very first time, the Wienermobile was just something that is gonna like stick with me forever, and just getting to tell them all about it and, show them all the crazy things that the Wienermobile has, like our ketchup and mustard floors or the blue sky on the ceiling, and just kind of seeing them, take in how crazy it is, and how cool it is that it's something that they get to see, and especially when they have parents that have seen it, or parents that have never seen it, and it's like they're getting to see the Wienermobile for the first time at 4 years old, and their parent, who is 35 years old, has never seen it before. And so to be able to help these kids and their parents and like their whole entire families make this memory that is going to be something that they'll cherish forever and something that they'll never forget has just been really, really impactful for me, and has just made me really realize like how blessed I am to be able to have this job.
Connor, in another interview that you had earlier on, you mentioned that one of the things you like about this is hearing those stories.
Absolutely.
So tell us some of the memorable stories that you can recall.
I would say the most memorable to me, I forget exactly where we were. I want to say it was Kansas. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to track, but it definitely made an impact. It was a woman who came by and said that her sister-in-law, her husband's sister, had been plagued by issues throughout childhood, medical issues, and she hated pictures, notoriously hated being in photographs, but was in a picture, one of the only ones she had, with the Wienermobile. And she went along with a bunch of surgeries and different medical treatments and unfortunately didn't make it. And the day that she passed, all the family was in the hospital grieving. It's a shock at that point. And they look outside and the Wienermobile is sitting there. And it was kind of just like, okay, we know she's in a better place now. That one picture they have of the Wienermobile, and then when she finally moved on, the Wienermobile's there. It's definitely a message that we do good, which we love to hear, and that it can definitely spread some joy around the community. That woman definitely gave a fantastic story and really highlighted what we aim to do as hot doggers with an American icon and how we can make an impact on the community.
Beautiful. I was just thinking that neither of you saw the Wienermobile when you were young, not really even aware of it. And Akira, here you are at the library. You've been to different events with the children. Connor just mentioned about stories that he's heard. I know you've heard stories as well. Here's a thought that I had is you were sharing this, that there are going to be hot doggers 30, 40 years from now, like yourself, hearing the stories of coming to Waco and seeing the Wienermobile at the library, at the zoo. You're creating a legacy by doing this yourself. So just give me some impressions that you have of this piece of Americana that you were a part of, a very small group of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's surreal to think about, and sometimes it still doesn't hit me, and I'll be, driving down the road or sitting shotgun while he's driving, and, it just hits you all of a sudden. You're like, I get to drive this and I get to make a difference in people's lives. But it's definitely something that you don't forget. And I remember one of the first times that I ever saw the Wienermobile, on Mizzou's campus, and the Wienermobile is in Mizzou's homecoming parade every year, which is such a big deal, because if you know Mizzou, Mizzou we claim to start homecoming. We're the first and the finest. So, we do homecoming very big every year, and so to have the Wienermobile be a part of that every single year is, and now I get to drive it, is just something that is so amazing. And one of the first times that I ever saw it was during the homecoming parade my sophomore year, and I remember, just running up and standing in front of it as they drove by with my friends and taking a picture, to now just a few months ago during the homecoming parade this year, I got to sit on top of the bun roof as Connor drove through, and one of our other hot doggers, Mustard Maddie, she's also a Mizzou grad, so she got to come up and sit out on the bun roof with me as we drove through Mizzou, where we both graduated from. And it was just such like a full circle moment for me. 4 years ago, I was just sitting in the crowd wishing that was me, and now it is. And so to be able to have these memories for myself, but also know that I'm creating these memories for other people is just so amazing and almost unbelievable to think about.
The WACO Experience, An American Story, is a production of D. Scott Smith Company, all rights reserved. Thank you for listening.